You did everything right: the degree, the marriage, the career. You raised the kids and ran the house and showed up for every person who needed you. You followed the plan all the way to the end of it, and here you are. The plan worked. Maybe your kids need you less than they used to. Maybe your career looks impressive but doesn't light you up anymore. And maybe your marriage is good. Your life is full, and that's exactly why you feel ridiculous admitting you want something else. And it still feels like something's missing. You've caught yourself saying it in the car, at the kitchen sink, in that flat little minute after everyone's gone to bed. Is this it? Is this all there is? If you've ever heard yourself ask that, even once, this one's for you. Don't go anywhere. Here's what you're walking away with today: one sentence, a single sentence that makes the gap you feel and can't explain, and a new way to understand that gap so you stop reading it as proof you chose wrong. Because that feeling isn't a sign you failed. By the time we're done here, you're going to see it as the opposite. Before we get into it, one quick thing. If you're new here, follow the Joy Shift wherever you're listening right now. I publish every Tuesday and Friday. Following is how the next episode finds you instead of getting lost somewhere in your feed. That's it. Now, let's get into it. Here's what I want to look at with you today. What does it mean when you did everything right and you still feel the gap? Not the gap between your life and some woman's highlight reel on your phone. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the gap inside your own good life, the space between what you built and what you feel when you're standing in the middle of it. It's not always a crisis. Sometimes it looks like boredom. Sometimes it looks like resentment. And sometimes it looks like scrolling Zillow for houses you don't need. And sometimes it looks like fantasizing about a version of you who has more space, more beauty, more freedom, and more voice. And because nothing is obviously wrong, you don't know what to do with the ache. That's the part nobody warned you about. They told you that if you made the right choices, you'd arrive. They forgot to mention you could arrive, look around, and feel like you left someone behind on the way out. Let me tell you when I felt it. I'd built a life that looked handled from the outside. I'm a former CPA, and for years I ran the business side of my husband's medical practice: payroll, billing, the books, the staff. I was the woman who had it together, the one people called when something needed fixing. And if for a long stretch, having it together was enough for me. Then one day it wasn't. I started writing a novel, a romance novel of all things, and I didn't tell anyone. I wrote at night after the house went quiet and everyone was asleep. I kept it in a document I password protected, which looking back makes me laugh. Who was breaking into my laptop to steal my secret feelings? But that's how scared I was. Not scared of writing, scared of what it meant for a former CPA who runs a urology practice to be thought of as writing romance in the dark. That didn't fit the woman everyone knew. It didn't fit the woman I'd worked so hard to become. There were nights my husband would walk in and I'd close the laptop before he could see the screen. Like a teenager at my age, I told myself I'd tell them when it was finished and when it was good and when I had a reason. The truth is, I was scared that if anyone knew I was doing something only for myself, they'd see me differently, judge me, or worse, talk me out of it before I understood what it even was. And here's the part that confused me for the longest time. I wasn't unhappy. I had a marriage I loved and still love, kids I was proud of and still am, work that mattered and paid the bills, and I still wanted something more, and I felt guilty for wanting it. And that's the gap. You don't have to be unhappy to feel it. So let's give it a name, because that's where everything starts, not in fixing it, not in figuring out what comes next, but in letting it be real enough to say out loud. In my work, I call this the gap statement. It's one sentence with one shape. I built blank and I feel blank. I built a family I love, and I don't know who I am when nobody needs me. That example. I built a career I'm good at, and I feel bored by my own competence. Another. Or I built a marriage, a home, a rhythm, and I feel like I disappeared making all of it work. And the last, I built a life that looks successful, and I feel strangely lonely inside it. Or I built the life I prayed for, and I feel guilty admitting I want something new. One of those might be yours, or maybe yours is something different. But the moment you hear it, your body will know. Say your version out loud just once and watch what happens in your body when you do. And that could be a tightening in your chest, a tightening in your throat, an ache in your stomach. Most women tear up, not because it's sad, because it's true. And it's the first time they let it be true out loud. Now, hear me out about what the gap is not. It's not proof you chose wrong. It's not a crisis. It's not you being ungrateful for a life other women would trade places for you in a heartbeat. The gap is the distance between the life you built and the parts of you that you set down to build it. You had to become someone specific to do all of this, focused, capable, the one who didn't flinch when it got hard. And that woman is brilliant, and she got you here. And I'm not saying a word against her, but she was built to achieve and to handle. She wasn't built to simply be. And somewhere in all the building, the version of you who wanted things just because she wanted them got quiet. The gap is her. She's asking for the microphone back. And here's why she stayed quiet for so long. You think the thing standing between you and what you want is time. You don't have enough of it. You'll get to yourself when the kids are settled and the quarter closes and the things slow down. But things don't slow down. You know that. You've been telling yourself when things slow down for years. The real thing in the way isn't time, it's permission. You're waiting for someone to tell you it's allowed. To want more when you already have so much. I call that the permission trap. And here's the cruel part. The person you're waiting on for permission, she's you. She's always been you. Now, here's where most advice gets it wrong. The world hands you two doors, very matrix of it. Door one, be grateful, stay content, stop stirring the pot. You have a good life. What more could you want? And door two, burn it down, leave the marriage, quit the career, sell the house, go find yourself on a beach somewhere far from everyone who knows your name or your story. And I'm not asking you to walk through either of them. This is the both/and. You get to keep the life you built and go after what's missing in it. Those two things aren't enemies. You don't close the gap by setting fire to your life. You close it by adding back the pieces of yourself you left out of it. I didn't leave my life to become a writer. I added it. Same husband, same practice, same kitchen table, and now 5 novels later, and this coaching work, and this conversation with you right now. Same life, more of me inside it. That's the whole thing. You're not too late. You're not asking for too much. You're done leaving yourself out of your own life. And let me make this real with someone who isn't me. A woman I worked with last year. I'll call her Alexandra. She ran a whole department and very efficiently. 2 kids, both launched and gone. A marriage that was steady and strong. On paper, she'd arrived. She was finished. She came to me and said to me in her lunch break in the car on Zoom, the one you've said many times, is this it? And then before she even finished the sentence, she apologized for it. And she said, I know how that sounds. I have everything. That apology, the gap and the trap in one breath. So we wrote her gap statement. And here's what came out. I built a life everyone admires, and I feel like a guest in it, a guest in her own life. She cried when she heard herself say it. And then she said the thing I hear from almost every woman who finds this language. I thought it was just me. And it's not just you. It was never just you. And that is the sentence I want you to listen for in your own life. Not the polished version, not the grateful version, not the version you'd say at brunch so everyone stays comfortable. The true one. Because the true sentence is usually the doorway. So here's what I want you to do with all of this. And I want you to keep it small on purpose. 1, write your gap statement. 1 statement. I built blank and I feel blank. Don't build a 5-year plan off the back of it tonight. Write the true sentence and let it sit there true for 1 full day. And number 2, there's no number 2, not today. Naming it is the whole job today. That sentence is your map. You can't get where you're going until you tell the truth about where you're standing. And where you're standing isn't wrong. It's just not finished. Now, let me tell you what happens if you don't. Not the dramatic version, the quiet one. Because the gap doesn't announce itself. It doesn't blow up your life. It waits. You stay busy. You stay useful. You keep the calendar filled so you don't even have to sit in the quiet long enough to hear the question. And the years keep moving the way they do. The kids get older. The work keeps coming. And that woman who wanted things, the one asking for the microphone, she doesn't leave. She gets quieter. And one day, quiet starts to sound a lot like gone. That's the cost. Not a breakdown. A slow fade, a good life that keeps getting a little smaller every year. You don't say the true thing out loud. You don't have to let it. That's the whole reason I'm in your ear today. One more thing before you go. If your gap statement surprised you or scared you a little, that's exactly what a next chapter session is for. I have 3 spots open this month for the woman who looks successful from the outside and knows somewhere under the noise that something deeper is asking for a change. We'll get clear on what chapter you're actually in, what's keeping you there, and what your next honest step might be. And if working together makes sense, we'll talk about that too. The link is in the show notes. And if that's you, take the spot before it's gone. If you ever had a friend Whoever whispered, I know I should be grateful, but send her this episode. Don't over explain it. Just say, I think this might give the language to something. Because so many women are walking around thinking it's just them. It was never just them. You did everything right. And the gap you feel isn't a sign you failed at it. It's a sign you're still in there. The woman who wanted things, who dreamed out loud before she learned to be reasonable, she didn't disappear. She got quiet. So today, don't overhaul your life. Don't make a 5-year plan. Don't burn anything down. Just write the sentence, I built blank and I feel blank. Let it be true for one day because knowing changes nothing and choosing changes everything. And sometimes the first choice is simply telling the truth because the quiet is not gone. I'll see you Friday.